Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books, but I will say hello to the new subscribers, by the way. Hello, it's been so nice to see the numbers come up, even if you only just came for the Disney vlogs, now you've left. Today I'm talking about the undoubtable Rose Beaufont, books 2 and 3, which are suddenly magical and becoming a Beaufont. So, if you're just tuning in, this is from a complete anthological series. I cannot say that word. This is like a complete series focusing on different members of the Beaufont family. The very first series was Liv, then it went to Sophia, then we went to Paris, and now we're at Rose. Liv and Sophia were sisters, well, are sisters, they're still here. Paris was Liv's daughter, and now Rose is Clark, the brother of Sophia and Liv's daughter. Trying to explain this family. So Rose is in a unique experience of being half mortal, half magician, due to essentially a magical version of IVF. There's only 2 people in the world like her, so Rose herself, and then her uncle John and his wife's son, London. Not actually her uncle, just to put that out there based on where the storyline is going. Kind of a pseudo-uncle, because John is a mortal 7 for the House of 14, of which Liv is a warrior for, as is Clark. Well, Clark isn't. Is he a warrior, or is he more just a royal? You don't really see Clark out on missions. It's Liv who goes out on the missions, and I feel like I'm just going into full backstory, but if you are here, I imagine you've read at least one of them before. Ideally, the beginning of Rose. So at the beginning of the Rose story, you found out that her mother, Stacy, is it Stacy was her mother? I'm getting the Harknesses mixed up at this point. But her mother took her away from the magical world, fearing that the magical world was going to corrupt her, and she's just fearful of it. And in the first book, Rose's aunt passes away in the line of duty, and it's found that Rose is going to be the next mortal 7 for the House of 14, at which point her chimera pops up in the form of a Chinese dragon, obviously. And his name is Elvis. It is very entertaining for me seeing all the names that Elvis is given that isn't Elvis, usually references to other superstars. I'm surprised he hasn't been called Freddie Mercury yet. But yeah, the amount of times he's been called stuff like Bono and John Lennon and anything that isn't Elvis. I'm surprised he hasn't been nicknamed Costello yet, because I think that would be quite funny. Sarah Noffke, Michael Anderle, if that's a joke you want to put in later, you can have it. But yeah, so through these books, you're seeing her realise her life as a Beaufont, not just as a Harkness, coming into her magic and learning how to handle that, and being thrown into the world of magicians and witches. In this version of the magical storyline, witches are not born, they sell their souls for the magic, whereas magicians are born. Based on some of the conversations, I am wondering if there is a way for them to eventually get along with the witches, or if they do just need to be eradicated. It's hard to figure out where this one's going to go, because ultimately the theme through the books is rehabilitation in a way, and realising that there needs to be control and balance. So I am wondering how that's going to work with the witches, especially because Rose and London have differing viewpoints on witches. Because Rose is in the point that she has been employed as a mortal 7 for the house to basically help them get rid of the witches, find the Coven's books and secrets, and trying to take them down. But then when you see her having conversations with London, he's at a point when he's just like, well, is there a way for us all to live together in harmony? And so I feel like at some point there's going to be some kind of balance in the middle where people try to figure out if there is a way to live harmoniously. Harmony. No, that word's not coming out. Harmoniously. Is that the word I'm looking for? How to live harmoniously with the witches, if there is a way to balance that, and is there a way for the witches to not sell their souls in the process? Is there a way for people without magic to use magic in a good way? Because, as I said, you know, in this story, in this version of the world of magic, witches sell their souls and magicians don't, and that is the key difference. I remember having a conversation about witches and warlocks and things, saying that witches is the female version, warlocks is the male version, and magician is just the unisex word. Like, is that the idea behind it? But this book says no, witches are the ones that sell their souls, which, to be honest, with it being around Halloween for me at the moment, makes me think of the Sanderson sisters. Winifred sells her soul, doesn't she, to get the book. So, through these past 2 books, she's trying to understand why her mother hid her away, and then also trying to find the secrets behind her being hidden away, and trying to take down the coven. In the process so far, she's arrested 2 witches, which her predecessor was unable to do at all. It had come to the point when the witches were just like, we're just too powerful, we can't be taken down by the Mortal Seven, we can't be taken down by the House of 14. And then Rose comes in, and with not much experience, and yet she is able to kidnap 2 in very quick succession, with putting like a rod up the witch's backside to go, oh no, okay, we've got somebody who's actually onto us now. It's just fun to see Rose come into that magic, understand it, harness it, and then you've got her Chimera, wonderful, wonderful Elvis, who, I must admit, I mean, I love Faraday the Squirrel. I've loved all of the sidekicks so far, but there is something quite special about a magic Chimera in Elvis, because he can talk, which provides great entertainment, because other Chimeras aren't supposed to talk, but because Rose is half magician, it means that her Chimera is half magic, and so he can talk, but he is convinced he is a real dragon when he's a Chimera, and so you're seeing him finding himself and realising that if he wants to believe he's a dragon, he needs to find the chi of the dragon, which brings in Aunt Sophia, which is great. You're just seeing more of the other characters coming now, which is fun. You're seeing her relationship with Rudolph. Rudolph has to be one of my favourite characters. We haven't seen much of Sherlock. I don't know if Sherlock is going to come back. And then I'm also still wondering in the back of my mind what's going to happen with the money guy, because Rumpelstiltskin style, Rose was promised to the fortune of wealth sub far. She's been promised to him, and we haven't seen much of that storyline yet. So I am wondering if that's going to come back in at some point, and he's going to come in and go, okay, I am ready for you to take over the business which I forced you to do. Because originally it was Paris's unborn child that was supposed to be promised, but she wasn't able to have children of her own, and so Clark then promised his. And that was part of the story as to why Stacey hid her daughter away, because she just didn't want her daughter to go to that magical route. And I'm wondering if at some point Rose is going to try and fix that relationship with her mother, because her mother acted out of fear. And so you are wondering if at some point they are able to make peace with each other, especially between Stacey and Clark, the parents, because obviously they had a relationship at one point, and, you know, they made Rose, I keep wanting to say Paris, I've still got Paris in my head. And then we've also found out that kind of as a mule, as the word is used in the book, and being born in a unique way, Rose can only have children with somebody else like her, i.e. London. And so even though they're kind of described as family but not, it's bordering on that kind of slightly ancestral moment where you're just like, oh, but even though they're not family, they are family. It's a weird path to tread there. But it's not like they grow up together or anything, and it's just like, oh, this feels really weird, because we've always referred to John as Uncle John, even though he's not actually family. It's just like, I'm sure everybody has that, like when they've got like a friend of the parents who just refer to as auntie and uncle, even though they're not actually blood relatives. It's just like, I have multiple people in my life like that. Like, we always joke that my auntie Alexis, even though she's not our auntie, me and my sister always call her Auntie Alexis, but her own nieces and nephews don't actually call her auntie, but we do. Yeah, it's just seeing that relationship between London and Rose and seeing what's going to happen there, and like, is it true that it's only those two can carry on that line? Because at this point it seems unlikely there's going to be any other Beaufonts, except if Rose carries that on. so much is happening. But it's still early stages of Rose figuring out her magic and finding out the secrets. In fact, we've just found out a bit of a secret in regarding to what happened when Rose was hidden by her mother and who was involved in that. So yeah, the missions are fun. I'm glad that she's being thrown together with her family and she's just learning lots. And yeah, just still intrigued as to where this side of the storyline is going to go in regards to the witches and what's going to happen if and when they do take down the coven, and is there going to be a way for them to rehabilitate the witches. Yeah, still early stages, but I'm very much enjoying it. If you haven't seen these before, you won't know that I actually started with the second character of the series, which was Sophia, then I went back to Liv, and then I came forward to Paris, and then did Rose. So yeah, I've read a lot over this past year of just the Beaufonts. But a series which is coming back, because I've just gotten the most recent 3 books, is Blake Pierce books. Jessie Hunt is back, so coming soon. You will have The Perfect Show, The Perfect Poise, and The Perfect Crowd, books 33, 34 and 35. I've only just gotten them, so I'll be starting them as I film this. Though by the time that you see this, they'll probably be read and done and dusted. So, yay! So yeah, the next book is Twisted Witchcraft, and I'm going to do 4, 5 and 6. Books I have just read as I get them back again. Books 2, Suddenly Magical, and book 3, Becoming a Beaufont. Yeah, she's just tapping into that Beaufont thing and harnessing and utilising her magic. And then we've seen Elvis tap into the chi of the dragon for the dragon that he rightly believes he is. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Again, hello to the new subscribers. It's very nice to see you. And I will see you next time. Stay safe. I love you all. Goodbye.